Hi guys, I am so glad that you're joining me today. First thing I want to tell you is be sure to comment the word dry. In fact, I'm going to write this down because I don't want to tell you the wrong thing later. You'd be like, what should I comment? Be sure to comment the word dry because I have a lot of things I'm going to be mentioning in this workshop that I want to send you links to and give you more details about. And I can do that if you comment the word dry. But wait till the end. If you're watching this live, I'm so glad you're here. Please say hi. Tell us where you're from. Hi guys. Tell us if you've ever dehydrated food before. And let me know if you have questions that you'd like to cover, you'd like me to cover in the next workshop. But once the live is over, I hate this about Instagram lives. I can't see your comment. So please leave your comments and that will give us discussion. But go back when the live is over and comment the word dry again. I mean, don't do it now if you're watching live because I want to make sure I give you all these resources. And I can't do that unless you comment after I've posted this workshop video. Hope that makes sense. It always sounds confusing when I try to explain it, but I'm really glad you're here. If you comment the word dry, you will also get the schedule for the next workshop. And if there's any changes, etc., you'll be the one to know. And all of these live workshops on dehydrating are going to be saved permanently so you can replay them whenever. I will send you the link to those as well once the workshops wrap up. As long as you comment the word dry, I will send you all of that. Okay, today, you know what? I realized one thing we didn't talk about in our first live in this series. I mean, maybe we did. I don't think I mentioned. We discussed all the reasons dehydrating is my absolute favorite way to preserve food. Now, I will say there's a place for all of the different ways, for sure. And I use all of the different ways. And I'm kind of give a bad rap to canning, but that's just because it's my personal thing that I hate. But I know some people love it. I get that. I mean, I don't really, but but I shouldn't be too quick to give such a bad rap to canning because there's lots of great things about canning. There are. And every food preserves differently using the different methods. Some foods you can't even preserve using some of the methods. So there's a great reason to have a good handle on all of them, which would be freezing and canning and fermenting and drying, which could be dehydrating or freeze drying. I've never owned a freeze dryer, so I can't give you insights into the difference in dehydrating and freeze drying, except, of course, freeze drying has a much higher initial price tag, of course. Speaking of which, oh, guys, I'm excited. I just found out yesterday that I have a couple dehydrators to give away. So be watching. And if you comment the word dry, you won't miss the details. I will absolutely let you know the 2 different ways you can have a chance at winning these 2 dehydrators. So be sure you comment the word dry. And I can tell you that one giveaway is going to be on Instagram. That much I know. So if you're watching this live, you are on Instagram. So hopefully you'll see it. But you know, the ridiculous algorithm doesn't always show everything. Which of course makes sense. I don't know why I say that because, you know, if it showed us everything, we would go insane because there's a whole lot of content out there. So I'll make sure you don't miss the giveaway information, but I'm super excited about it. And I'm also excited. I did this 2 days ago, but I didn't tell anybody like in the world. I opened the doors to Dehydrating Academy. And unless you're one of my insiders, this is the first you're hearing it. I did mention it slightly in a reel yesterday, but I was away for 3 days, had an amazing time. It was so good. We went to, is it pronounced Sebago or Sebago? I think it's Sebago, Maine. Word to future self, note to future self. Don't get excited and release this amazing resource while you're away because you're not going to tell anybody. Anyway, it's available. It's called Dehydrating Academy. It is the tips and tricks, everything that I wish I had known so many years ago. I worked through so many learning curves. I figured out so many things. I'm still figuring out things about dehydrating, but everything that I know is in Dehydrating Academy. But even better, what I'm really excited about there's not only an introductory price, but for those of you who are catching these workshops, there's a special exclusive code that I'm not sharing anywhere else. And it's only for a few days. It'll probably run through the weekend. And I will fill you in on all of that. But you will get 40% off the already totally slashed introductory price. I'll send you that if you comment the word dry. So I'm excited about that. Okay, I just took this out of the dehydrator. Oh, my brain is running in 5 places at once. I told you there was something I didn't share in the first workshop. Maybe I should start there. I don't think I mentioned that one thing I love about dehydrating is it gives me the ability to very nicely preserve items that I forage, that it's either impossible or hard for me to find them elsewhere, that I use them like in medicinal teas mainly. That's the only way I use them, I guess. Oh, sometimes I make a tincture out of a few of them. Or you can buy them. A lot of them you can buy, but they're pretty expensive because I'm not sure why, actually. I was going to say maybe they're hard to find, but none of these are hard to find in my area at least. So let me show you some of these items that I foraged. So I paid nothing for them and I dehydrated, and then I just keep them in my cabinet in all different mason jars. And oh, this smells so good. We'll pull them out and add them to different tea blends. Any guesses? This one's really easy. Comment what you think this one is. I'll go through them all and then I'll come back and see your comments and see if you got them. So let me know what you think this is that I foraged and dehydrated. And then I'm going to set these in order so I can tell you in order. How about this one? This one is not as easy as the first one. That first one, I think y'all are going to know. What do you think? Let's see if anybody's commenting. Oh, so many of you are joining. I'm so glad to see you guys here. Any guesses what this is that I foraged? And item number 3. What's behind curtain number 3? What about this one? This one I think is easier than that last one. This one's so common here. All along the roadsides. It's just now starting to die out. We're not seeing it now, but very common all summer long. And this is the 4th one I'll show you. I have more, but I just pulled out 4. I think this one's really easy because it's such a common flower, but I don't know. I think, yeah, that's really easy. You guys are going to know what that one is. So comment what you think those 4 are, because I'm actually curious to know if you guys know what those are. But that's one thing about dehydrating, any method of preservation actually, that you can do it yourself and dry or dehydrate it exactly the way you want it. And you can preserve items that otherwise might be really hard or expensive for you to find. So all of that was just an add-on to the last workshop. And like I said, when the workshops are over, which I believe will be tomorrow, unless I add any more on, I will send out everyone who comments the word dry. I will send out all of the whole playlist so you can rewatch this and see those other reasons I love dehydrating in addition to what I just mentioned. This is still a little unrelated to our topic, but I just pulled this out of my dehydrator and I had to show you since we're talking all things dehydrating. Okay, here's my dehydrating tray, right? I have 11 of these in my dehydrator right now, filled with this wonderful stuff. You guys know what this is? Any guesses on that? This sheet is an add-on that I can get with my dehydrator that allows me, because you couldn't do it with just your tray, obviously, it allows me to make leathers, fruit leathers, and this is not a fruit leather. Any guesses? I'm wondering if you guys are commenting and Instagram isn't showing them to me. Maybe I have to scroll all the way down. So many of you have joined. Hi guys. I wish I could say hi to all of you. So many have joined, but I don't see you guys telling me what these are. Clover, somebody said yes. That was our very first one. Red clover, Tales from the Mutiny. Got that one right. And anybody know what this is? It smells really good. So many. It's hard to scroll through all of you guys, and I don't want to miss your comments. Sherry Glazier is joining us from Southwest Florida, and she says she has dehydrated mangoes and made mango roll-ups. I love it. So Sherry did something just like I'm showing you right here to make her mango roll-ups. That sounds awesome. I've never done mangoes. I do strawberry for roll-ups. I have not. Peter asked if I have freeze-dried fruits. I've actually not freeze-dried anything. I am not an expert on that, although I assume it has a lot of similarities to dehydrating. And by the way, Peter is joining us from Oswego, Illinois. Welcome, Peter. It's probably Illinois, right? The S is silent. Okay. Whoops. I'm commenting on my own live. I don't know what I don't want to comment on my live. Okay. Okay, let me show you this. Nobody guessed, so I'll tell you. This is, well, let me peel it off and maybe you'll know then. Look at this. Just peels right off. Makes me so happy. And this doesn't look, I guess, like traditionally this vegetable would, because I have many of them in this, and there's many different colors. There's reds and yellows and purples. Okay, I'll just tell you. This is, oh, a soup. Tina guessed a soup. That's a good idea. A soup could look like this. This is tomatoes, straight up, nothing else but garden tomatoes that I grew this summer. I put them in my blender. You know what? I'm not going to go any more about it because tomorrow we're going to talk in detail about this. So I'm going to hold that for our workshop tomorrow. But it's tomatoes. And I'll tell you why I did this and what I do with it tomorrow. I just wanted to show you today because I don't know if I'll have tomato leathers coming out of my dehydrator tomorrow right at the right time. And it was perfect timing right now. So today, finally, we're getting to what I promised you we'd talk about. We're talking about the one thing that most people do wrong or don't do at all when it comes to dehydrating, and that's a huge fail. I think it's a reason that people get very discouraged and think dehydrating doesn't work for them, and it's actually a really simple thing. It's called, oh, Sandy says she can't hear. Anybody else having trouble hearing? I hope not. Maybe that's why not a lot of you are commenting. On my end, it looks like the sound is on. Somebody comment and let me know if you can hear. And Sandy, I wonder if maybe you need to update your app or maybe just turning your phone off and on would help. Definitely when this is over, Sandy, come back and comment dry and I'll send you a link so you can watch it. But somebody let me know if you can hear me because now I'm kind of worried. I can hear. Oh, good. Tina can hear. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Teller Muddler. Is that your Teller Muddler? I hate Instagram handles. They're fun once I decipher them, but when I'm on a live, I can't quickly decipher them. Thank you. Is it Shanna? Shanna can hear. Okay. So the thing is that people don't do is condition, or they don't know about it, or they don't know how to do it correctly, but it's so easy. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's all you ever need to know about how to condition your food when you're dehydrating, what I'm telling you right now. Unfortunately, this I don't have an example of in front of me. Since we were away for 3 days, I actually, at 1 a.m., the morning before we were leaving, I was still going through all my different garden food and getting the processing done to get it put away. And one of the things I did was I took the last of my dried tomato slices that I had and I powdered them. But they were fully conditioned, so I still couldn't have really showed you. But I wish I had something that I had just started. But since we just got back, I haven't started new yet. But conditioning is making sure that your food is extremely dry. So it's ready, shelf stable and ready to sit on a shelf in a sealed container for years and be good for you. And it's a matter of shaking it basically, at least a couple times a day. Let's say that these, well, I honestly don't have to condition either of these items. Let me show you what I got here. You guys haven't told me the rest of those herbs. Let me know what you think those are. What about this? Ooh, don't want to lose them. What do you think this one is? Just finished this right before we went away. Love this. This is my family's favorite vegetable. Right there. It smells exactly like what it is. But these, and let me show you my other vegetable I have here. These I don't condition because I tend to dehydrate both of these whole. So what do you guys think this is? Yes, Tellier Muddler? You're right, green bean. What about this one? I tend to dehydrate both of these whole. And when they're coming off the dehydrator, did you hear that crack? I can tell just by, I didn't clean my fingernails. I get on a live after being in the garden and I always realize I really should have cleaned my fingernails. I washed my hands, but I didn't clean out. Anyway, because I dehydrate them whole. Oh, okra. No, I've never grown okra. That's a very southern thing, right? I don't think that would grow here in New England. Does it look like this? Interesting. I'll show you another one in here. Here's another one. Those first couple I showed you were very small. Here's another one. Oh, Tellier just dehydrated beans herself. Yay. Anyway, I dehydrate a lot of vegetables whole like this, and when they're coming out of the dehydrator, I can tell that they're fully done. Like I've gotten good at inspecting them closely. It can be tricky if you're new at this to maybe miss it because it could feel dry and then like a tip or a certain spot be soft. So you do have to look kind of closely as you're going through your tray and putting it away. But I don't need to condition these because I've looked very closely at them. But if it's tomato slices, anybody has to condition those because tomato slices are really tricky. Or if it's pepper slices, you have to condition. And all that it means is put them in a container. Typically it'll be much bigger than this because I've filled my dehydrator a couple times with whatever the vegetable or fruit is. Fruits I always condition too, like strawberry slices, banana slices. I'll put them in a bowl or container with a lid. That's a sealed container. And then at least twice a day, I'll just shake it. I'll leave them sit on the counter, like in the corner of the kitchen where I can see them. So it's a mental note. Oh, have I given a good shake to that container today? You do that a couple times, and as you're doing it, you check the container. If you see any sticking to the sides or the bottom, or you can open it maybe once a day and kind of feel through them. If you see any sticking together, that means they didn't dry well enough and they're not going to be shelf stable. So those particular items will come out of your container and go back into the dehydrator. But it's that simple. That is conditioning, and you do that for 5 to 7 days. At that point, you can feel confident, if you've removed all the things that were sticking in any way, you can feel confident that they are dry. Now, once I put it back into the dehydrator, you do start the conditioning process again. So I will have sometimes multiple containers lined up. So I do put a date on it as well, so I know when it's ready to get put away into the cabinet. So it's that simple. But I didn't know about conditioning in the beginning, and I was really screwing things up because things looked done. I thought they felt done. It's also hard because vegetables are different than fruits and the way they feel when they're done. And vegetables are going to be more brittle and fruits are going to be more bendable, leathery, but you can tell they're dry. So once you know that simple thing, the success rate skyrockets. And this is just one of so many things that I have loaded into Dehydrating Academy. And like I said, I have a special offer just for you guys in the workshop. So I want to make sure everybody who's interested can dive in at 40% off the already slashed introductory price. So I will send you that code if you comment dry. Okay, I have a few other things here that I just pulled out because I figured why not, kind of a show and tell. Oh, one other thing I foraged, I didn't show you this one. This is actually flowers. I don't know if you'll even be able to tell. They're teeny tiny flowers. Anybody know what those are? They're so good, so medicinal. A lot of people dehydrate the fruit that this flower will turn into, but the flower is not as common to dehydrate. Both the fruit and the flower are wonderful for so many medicinal uses, especially about this time of year when the fall hits. I turn to, anybody know? This is my elder flower, and I also have dried dehydrated elder berries. Both are wonderful, and if you have them available to you to forage, you can save so much money if you're dehydrating them yourself instead of buying them dehydrated. Yes, elderberry flowers. I believe the official term, I think, is elderflower, but I call them elderberry flowers too. Oh, and let me tell you what these other items were, because I didn't see more people guessing unless I missed it, which is possible, because whenever somebody new joins, Instagram tells me, which I love, but that means any comments go way up, because more people are joining. So glad you're here. Oh, so many, and I don't want to miss this. Schneeweiss, yes, please. What was the yes, please to? Okay, so other ones. I showed you. You guys got the clover right. I already forget the order. I told you I was going to set them in order and then I just moved them. Okay, I think this was, I forget the order. This one is goldenrod. This one is yarrow. And very common, what my father always said was the worst weed in the world, but I love them. He would just, my father, if he was still alive, would hate it that I forage and, well, I don't really forage these just grow in my yard, it's not hard, that I gather these and dry them. They're dandelions. And they're so medicinal. In fact, I did a podcast with an absolute expert on dandelions. Who would have thought? An expert on dandelions, but she exists and she's amazing. If you'd like to know more about the medicinal qualities of dandelions, I will send you that when you comment dry. I also did a whole podcast just recently, a whole episode on what we're talking about in these workshops. So I'll send you that link too. If you like listening to podcasts, I think both of these are ones you will really enjoy, and I'll send you those links when you comment dry. Okay. The other things I wanted to show you, and then we will wrap this up. This is my favorite thing of all that I dry because I use it all the time. I just put some on Bill's sandwich that he took for lunch. You know what this is? I grow this in a few different pots, one right behind my kitchen and then one in my garden. And I will collect from it often and dry it all summer long. You can't dry it in the summer by hanging it unless you live in an area of the world, which I don't think there are too many that have zero humidity. If you live in Arizona, I think you could dry your herbs all year round, but otherwise you need a dehydrator to be able to do this correctly. And if I don't collect it all summer long, then I have a couple problems. My fungus will build up on my oregano because it gets too bushy in the pot and it won't grow as prolifically. It grows so much more and you get so much more if you're collecting it all summer long and dehydrating it all summer long. But I love oregano, my favorite herb. So that's what that is. This we're going to talk more about tomorrow, these two things. So my last little thing, just to get you to make sure you join us tomorrow, comment dry if you need to know the schedule. See if there's any other comments. Okay, this is pepper powder. This is dehydrated peppers, which is what I showed you here. I will dehydrate them whole. I will dehydrate them in slices. In that case, I always condition them because sometimes the slices I'll miss a little bit that is not dry. And then I can turn either of those, the slices or the whole peppers, into pepper powder. And this is so good on so many things, guys. Put it on your eggs, put it over top of your meal. So good and so nutritious. I should have started the whole workshop telling you this. Dehydrated food maintains almost 100% of the nutrients of that food. So if you are growing your own, you're bringing it in fresh picked, putting it right in the dehydrator and then putting it in your jar in your shelf. In January, when I pull a pepper out and grate it to use it, it's going to be as nutritious as it was when I picked it on September, what is the day? I've lost track of the day. September 4th, is it the 4th? That blows my mind. Because if you can your vegetables, you're losing anywhere from, I don't want to misquote this, but I'm pretty sure the USDA recent numbers are 60 to 80%. It could be 40 to 60, so I don't want to misquote that. I'm just going to say 60, and I know I'm safe. You're losing 60% of your nutrients in a lot of cases. That blows my mind. So this powder has so much nutrition in it, and I can shake it over whatever I want to have the taste of pepper in. And this is not just tomato powder. You could save it just as tomato powder, but I have added the spices to it and the sugar to it, some maple sugar, to make it the exact blend my family loves for spaghetti sauce. So this right here, I need usually about 3 tablespoons of this with 6 tablespoons of water to reconstitute it and make enough spaghetti sauce for our meal of spaghetti. So this, I guess it's about a cup. I think there are 16 tablespoons in a cup. So 5. This is about, and it's more than a cup. This is probably 6 meals of spaghetti sauce for my family, which we talked about in our first workshop. One thing I love about dehydrated food, you can store so much of it in such a small space. So isn't that crazy? 6 jars of spaghetti sauce right here. If it was loaded at the top, 12 jars of spaghetti sauce. Okay, This was fun, guys. Make sure you comment dry as soon as this is over, or if you're watching this as a replay, I hope you've already commented dry, and I will send you all those things we talked about. I'll give you that super discount code just for you guys. I will tell you how to sign up to be on the list for the schedule, and I can then send you the replay link for all of these, and that won't be until next week, but I'll get that out next week. And I will send you those podcast episodes that I mentioned that I think you're going to love. So thanks so much for joining, guys. And please join me for the next one. It's been fun. I love talking about this stuff. Love it.